Hello everyone, welcome back to Moon Cipher. Tonight, we travel into the frozen heart of Canada to uncover one of the most haunting disappearances in modern history, the Lake Anjikuni Mystery. It's a story that seems impossible. An entire village, dozens of people, gone overnight. No bodies, no clues, no explanation, just a frozen silence stretching across the snow. Our story begins in November 1930. The Arctic winter had already settled in across the remote Kivalliq region of northern Canada. Trapper Joe Labelle, a seasoned outdoorsman who often traveled through the wilderness, was on his way to the Inuit fishing village near Lake Anjikuni. Joe had visited this settlement many times before. It was a place known for its warm hospitality and the sound of laughter carrying over the frozen water. But on this trip, things would be very different. When Joe reached the outskirts of the village, the first thing he noticed was silence. Not the natural quiet of snow and wind, but an eerie stillness, the kind that makes your instincts scream that something is wrong. Usually, dogs would bark, and people would come out to greet him, but this time there was nothing. No movement, no sound, just the cold. He called out, but no one answered. His boots crunched through the snow as he walked toward the small huts built along the lake's edge. The doors were open. Inside, cooking fires were still smoldering. Bowls of food sat on tables, as if someone had stepped out only moments ago. Fur clothes hung on pegs. Hunting rifles leaned against the walls. Everything was perfectly in place except for the people. Joe checked every hut in disbelief. The entire village, men, women, and children, had vanished. He saw sleds still tied to posts and fish drying racks left half full. It was as if every person had suddenly walked away and never returned. Then came the strangest sight of all. The dogs. The villagers' sled dogs, their lifeline in the Arctic, were found dead. They hadn't been killed violently, but frozen where they lay, still chained. It looked like they had been left for days without food or water, abandoned to the bitter cold. Joe, shaken to the core, couldn't understand it. The Inuit would never leave their dogs behind, not in those conditions. He noticed something else even more chilling. Near the edge of the village, the snow-covered ground had been disturbed. The graves from the small burial area had been dug up and the bodies were missing, but there were no signs of tools or footprints leading away. Who would have dug up graves in the middle of the Arctic winter, and why? Terrified, Joe Labelle did what any man in his situation would do. He left the village immediately and made his way to a nearby telegraph station to alert the Royal Canadian Mounted Police (RCMP). The Mounties quickly organized an investigation and sent a team to Lake Anjikuni. When the police arrived, they confirmed the trapper's story. The village was indeed empty. They saw the abandoned huts, the frozen dogs, the food left untouched. They even examined the graves. The investigators tried to look for footprints or sled tracks, but snowstorms had erased all traces of where anyone might have gone. Even the lake itself seemed strange. Some reports claimed that holes had been found near the shore, as if something large had broken through the ice. Locals whispered that lights had been seen in the sky days before the disappearance, glowing blue and moving erratically across the horizon. The police filed a report, but details were sketchy. Some said the villagers might have migrated to another location, though no nearby communities had seen them. Others suspected an outbreak of illness, but no bodies were ever found. Over time, the official explanation became lost in confusion. For decades, the story spread through newspapers and radio broadcasts. Some journalists added strange details that the snow around the village glowed faintly at night, or that mysterious metallic objects were found near the lake. But whether these claims were true or not, no one could ever explain how a whole community could vanish so completely. One of the most haunting aspects of the story is how isolated Lake Anjikuni is. The area lies deep in Nunavut, a region where temperatures can drop below -40 degrees. It's not a place where you can simply disappear without a trace, especially not dozens of people, all at once. Over the years, many theories have emerged trying to explain what happened. Some point to natural causes, others to supernatural or extraterrestrial forces. Let's explore the most compelling ones. The first and most logical theory is that the villagers left voluntarily. Perhaps they moved to another area in search of better hunting grounds, but this doesn't explain why they left behind their essential belongings, their weapons, and their dogs. Inuit people of that region were expert survivalists. Abandoning their gear would have been a death sentence. Another theory is mass abduction, not by humans, but by something not of this earth. Those strange lights reported in the sky before the disappearance. Some say they were UFO. It's one of the earliest and eeriest alleged alien abduction cases on record. People speculate that the lights came from above the lake, and that the villagers were somehow taken aboard. But again, this is speculation. There was never physical evidence to prove it. Others suggest something more supernatural, that the people of Lake Anjikuni were taken by the Kashtaka, a shape-shifting creature from Inuit legend. The Kashtaka, according to folklore, lures people into the wilderness by mimicking the cries of loved ones, leading them to vanish forever. Could ancient mythology hold a clue to what happened? There's also the theory of time anomalies or dimensional shifts. Some believe the entire village might have crossed through a portal or rift in space-time. This idea, though fantastical, draws eerie parallels to other mass disappearance mysteries, like the lost colony of Roanoke. Skeptics, however, argue that the entire story might be a myth. They claim that no records of an Anjikuni village ever existed in RCMP archives, and that the story was likely exaggerated by journalists. In 1959, the RCMP even issued a statement saying no evidence was ever found to confirm such an event, but believers counter that this could be part of a cover-up. The 1930s were a time when northern Canada was still largely unexplored. Government expeditions were rare, and communication was limited. If something truly unexplainable happened, it could have easily been buried to avoid panic. Even now, the mystery endures. No definitive proof has ever surfaced to confirm or deny the disappearance. Modern researchers who visit the lake describe an unsettling stillness, as if the place itself holds its breath. Some locals refuse to go near it, saying the spirits of the lost villagers still wander the shore at night. Travelers have even reported hearing faint voices and seeing flickering lights on the frozen horizon. Whether truth or legend, the story of Lake Anjikuni taps into one of humanity's deepest fears, the fear of vanishing without a trace. It reminds us that even in our modern world, there are still places where the unknown reigns supreme, where nature and mystery blend so perfectly that the line between reality and the impossible disappears. So, what really happened to the people of Lake Anjikuni? Did they flee? Were they taken? Or did they simply step into another world, leaving only silence behind? Whatever the truth, the story continues to fascinate because every mystery, no matter how cold or distant, tells us something about our need to understand the unexplainable. This has been Moon Cipher. If you love exploring the world's strangest mysteries and chilling disappearances, make sure to subscribe. Because out there, hidden beneath the ice and shadows, are stories waiting to be uncovered.